Welcome to the Hockey Players Club podcast. Brought to you by HockeyPlayersClub.com, where hockey players from around the world connect for one-of-a-kind content and quality products at unbeatable prices. Like the brand new Hpc X1x Hockey Stick, made of 100% 18K Diamond Light carbon fiber, completely redesigned and only weighing 375 grams, the X1X delivers all the performance and durability of the most elite sticks on the market, but for $100 less.
Let's see what this man thinks.
Hello, friends. Brandon Rubio, Matt Schwartz, Kyle Kittleberger, Kevin Custer, and we are the Hockey Players Club podcast. And gentlemen, it has been a week and 2 days since the last time we recorded, and a lot has happened in that week and 2 days. You know, the sports world is in a much different place. Hell, the world is in a different place. And I think we do ourselves a disservice if we didn't at least bring it up. And that is, of course, Tom Brady leaving New England and becoming a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
Wait, is that true? He's playing for Tampa?
Oh, yeah.
No shit.
And, of course, there's some pandemic going around that everyone's talking about it. I don't know if you've heard about that, too. But we might just touch on it all over the next hour. And if
Don't touch it with me.
I'm not going to touch... Okay, you're right. I use the word touch. You know, that's a touchy subject.
In fact, I think our social distancing in this room, we're not doing a good job right now. Yeah.
But we are under the limit, right? Isn't it 5 people? 10 people?
10.
Oh, okay.
They keep limiting it. You're not even going to be able to...
Too bad we don't
limit
have
your own
fans.
house.
We could get 6 fans in here. Wouldn't be a problem.
But of course, we're talking about the coronavirus and all the guidelines and panic that are coming along with it. And I know we've all dealt with it both professionally, personally, and it is something else. I never got to that Capitals Red Wings game on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
To be honest, they canceled it Thursday during the day.
That's right, 'cause that's when the NHL shut down.
We were going to play
During the
Thursday.
day. Yeah.
And roughly in that mix, too, our season got canceled as well. It has been interesting. And I know, obviously, everyone is suffering some kind of setback and or quarantine going on. But how are we doing elsewise, gentlemen? We feeling healthy?
I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, I feel good, I'd say. But it is an enormous kick in the nuts, you know, this whole thing that's gone on.
You guys can't go on the ice right now, right?
Nope.
Our local rink is shut down for 2 weeks.
I don't think there's any rinks in the area open, right?
Yeah,
Like they're all shut down.
Yeah, all the rinks are shut down. All the fucking stores are shut down. All the sports leagues are shut down.
Everything's closed or canceled or paused. Everything.
Everything that I care about, damn it.
But the internet is not closed.
No doubt about it.
I have to just ask, though, before we get into all the hockey talk, what is with the hoarding of the toilet paper? I don't understand it. I just don't.
It's respect for the butthole, Brandon.
No, but here's my thing. Say you're at home and you run out of toilet paper. Wash your asshole with a washcloth or towel and wash that shit and do it again. Like, who's that worried about toilet paper?
There's a lot of worried people out there.
Yeah, but why? I mean, of all things, like, all right, I can understand food. I can understand soap or disinfectants. Toilet paper? We're hoarding toilet paper. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, I hear you. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. I had to go to the one store and take the toilet paper out of the display in the window in order to get some because they were sold out, but they forgot that they had some in the display.
Do I need to circle back to where are you going where toilet paper is in the display window? Out of curiosity.
Should I name it?
You're going to say it's a local establishment?
Pure Hockey. No, kidding.
They don't have toilet paper there.
People hear quarantine and they think, my asshole must be clean.
Yeah, it's
Buy
just,
a bidet, bro.
yeah, just pure panic in terms of like, all right, I'm going to be in my house, can't go anywhere for a while. I'm going to do a lot of shit. 'Cause I'm going to be eating super unhealthy here, so I got to be prepared.
I'm going to be eating Taco Bell 6 nights a week. I got to be ready. First of all, it seems like everyone's immediate thought was toilet paper and alcohol.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard the PA liquor stores were closing, we made a run to the wine store. I mean, we don't know how long this is gonna last.
It's just crazy how fast it all came about. Because I remember when the NBA canceled their season, we put up some content on social, like, you know, should the NHL do the same thing?
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like that next day, literally everything turned to hell. And
Yeah.
Shit. And almost every sports league was canceled, and it was just like, man, what just happened?
Well, it's funny because like we recorded last Monday. It's now Wednesday as we're sitting here the following week, and we had said in that podcast, it's like, oh, there's probably going to be games with empty arenas.
Yeah.
That maybe it'll come to that,
Yeah.
but hopefully not. And then just within 3 days, everything's canceled. Like as soon as the NBA immediately shut down their season, that was when everybody really like perked up and paid attention. Like, oh fuck, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's been like, hey, this is serious. We're shutting everything down. And the NCAA canceling everything, all the championships, all that stuff. Literally everything just done. Sorry, graduate, nothing for you.
I have a feeling I know what
Craziness.
you want to say.
Well, no, I was going to say I feel bad for those seniors.
Yeah,
I do feel bad for the seniors that they went through all of their practices, training camps, all that. I mean, and also this might be their last hurrah, any level of competitive play ever.
Yeah.
And not knowing that you're going to get to play your last game kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but mine ended in nationals where you kind of knew any game could be your last of your collegiate career / competitive career.
Yeah.
And not to say that provides me some great peace of mind at the end of the day, but just like, I knew that was happening.
Yeah.
Where like I know with your team right now, what you guys played 4 games this season, maybe?
7.
Oh, all right. 7. Either way, out of how many? I'm sorry.
Right, it's 16.
Right. So
Right.
not even half, not even in playoffs. So I'm sure some seniors were still just getting into the mode and we're looking forward to playing it out. Just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, those teams, they battle all year for a chance to go to nationals or to go to win a state championship, go to the Penguins Cup, whatever it is, and then it's just taken away from you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like, that really sucks. I mean,
It really does.
that really, really sucks.
And I really felt for, as you guys know, I coach a college lacrosse team, and we have 11 seniors on our squad this year, and I really felt for our squad, especially because we went on spring break on Wednesday. We talked about it. We were going to go see a Capitals Red Wings game Thursday night. So we played Wednesday. Thursday, woke up like normal. By the time Thursday afternoon hit, the NHL suspended their season. So Thursday night, plans out the window.
Put it in the table.
You don't like that?
No, I don't like it at all.
You keep interrupting my goddamn thoughts here.
Should we
Well,
just
you're
talk
not
and
gonna
bang
like
the
it.
table?
Give a goddamn.
Yes.
I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
I'm sure it was
Thursday, we were supposed to go to the Capitals game. Didn't. Then also Thursday afternoon, I found out that the NCAA was putting a kibosh on spring championship. So basically, my AD called the rest of the season was going to be canceled. He goes, treat Saturday. We're going to still play Saturday. Treat it like a senior day. Probably the last game. So I told the team they were prepared for that, but happy, hey, we get one last go around.
Sure.
Friday, we practiced at the school we were going to play at Friday, Marymount. And then I sit down on the bus. We're driving back. It's a 10-minute drive between Marymount and the hotel. I get a call from the AD, and he's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to play tomorrow. I was like, you kidding me? And at first, they wanted us to come home immediately. Meanwhile, we had dinner already paid for Saturday night.
I mean, the strippers already took the deposit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I told them. And we luckily were able to stay out there Friday night, but I had to turn around and tell that whole bus load of our kids, by the way, you're not playing tomorrow. So, hey, you played your last game. Congratulations. Did you have fun?
Yeah,
It's a kick in the balls.
what was the mood?
It
Celebratory?
was very, what would be a good way?
Somber?
Remorse. Remorse.
Wait, was that with me or not?
A lot of remorse.
Remorse.
Yes. And I think some mixed, like a couple guys are getting emotional about it, you could tell.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, by the way, this game that we got beat at and played kind of like shit, that was your last game. Hope you had fun.
Yeah.
So it's a lot for guys to process.
It's just wild how much this does just like, I mean, we're all in it, right? But just how much it affects all of us. And I know my day to day, I was saying to my wife, like, okay, normally at night, like I'm not necessarily watching hockey games all night by any means, but I normally check in on some scores. Of course, if it's a Penguin game, I might, if I don't watch the game, at least watch a period or so. And it's like, well, that's gone. And then, part of my work, the Hockey Players Club, is also like, playing the weekly picks game, doing all that, talking about hockey on the podcast. Like, Well, that's gone. The ice rink's closed, and I can't train players. Well, that's gone.
Yeah.
It's a little different times. And then, I mean, obviously the NHL, look at what's happening with these the players and everything. I mean, their whole lives are set upside down. They're in quarantine, or they can go home, but they have to be in a self.
Yeah. So the NHL finally, they've been coming out with press releases as more information comes out. At first, they told the players to go home, stay in their home cities, don't leave the country, and then I think it was after the CDC came out and basically said, like, hey, there's not going to be any mass gatherings for at least 8 weeks. That's when they went back to the players. They're like, okay, pretty much go wherever you want. But once you get there, you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks and then expect, if things go best case scenario, in about 45 days' time, I think they want to come back and do like a mini training camp and maybe restart play 60 days' time. Now, that's best case scenario. Nothing else goes wrong. Obviously, things change every hour.
So let me ask you guys this. Obviously, we've all played hockey a long time. You three, a little bit longer than I have. What do these guys do to stay in shape? Because if they don't have access to ice, skating is one of those things where it's not like running. You can't just go outside and skate, and duplicate that. Right. It's really hard to duplicate, and that's a big part of off-ice conditioning.
Yep.
And obviously technology that way has gotten better. But what do these guys do right now?
I saw an interesting piece. I think it was on TSN. They featured where they interviewed Matt Nichol, from BioSteel. He trains a couple many NHL players, and another guy that I'm sorry I don't remember his name right now, but
real important guy.
He is an important guy. So I remember Matt Nichol from some other things. Anyhow,
Joe Mishmorshin. Nothing.
You're a bunch of dicks. Obviously, like the normal stuff you would think about, you could do at home and body weight stuff. But that was a big thing they said. Like, I mean, hockey is not a sport you can necessarily, unless you have like a little rink. I mean, you can't skate. You're not going to any public facilities. Yeah, you can maybe shoot some pucks if you had a studio like ours. Speaking
of which, we should bring that up. That you guys finally got your shooting room all together.
Yes, we should briefly interrupt the show. I agree with that. The shooting room is here. Hockey Shot hooked us up with some nice synthetic ice.
It is sweet.
Some passers. It is going to be sweet.
Can I be frank? It's spectacular.
Thank you.
I had a ball in there. Yeah. I was disappointed we had to come and record this goddamn shit. I could be in there shooting right now.
Don't worry. We'll get some footage of you doing that too.
Doing what I do best.
Missing the net.
Yeah. But definitely, honestly, though, keep an eye out on the HPC. We're going to be putting out some cool content from the studio. But, I mean, unless these guys have one of those, they can't go to any public facilities to skate.
All shut down.
You're certainly never going to get, you're not supposed to be within 6-8 feet of people, so you're not getting hit from anybody. I mean, aside from doing some shit to keep the muscles strong and some movement to keep yourself limber, I don't know what these guys can do.
Yeah. And I remember reading something that even said, because there was a suggestion, maybe guys could do some rollerblading, something like that, simulate some skating. But some people will even say, no, if I'm a trainer and I'm training somebody and they say they want to go rollerblade, I tell them not to because they're going to fuck up their stride on the ice. Because it's just totally different mechanics in terms of how you're going to skate on rollerblades and how you skate on the ice. And another part in terms of the how hard are these players going to be actually training because there's so much unknown. I think I saw an interview with somebody from the Canadiens, and it was like, well, as of right now, you look at the standings, we're way outside the playoff picture. If our regular season is actually over and they restart just with the playoffs, which a lot of people speculate is going to happen, why am I going to kill myself for these next 2 months if they're going to come back and be like, oh, by the way, the 16 teams that are in right now are in, everybody else, your season's over. So go home.
I know Matt Nichol said, and I would agree with this early on. I mean, obviously this is still fresh, and a lot of these guys, they're in the middle of towards the end of an NHL season. So to be honest, they're probably underslept and overexerted. Thank you. So I mean, as of right now, you would think these guys should mostly probably just be resting up and maybe enjoying an opportunity to be at home. But as everyone is kind of suspecting that this is going to be maybe a few more weeks, if not maybe 8-ish weeks, which would be so wild to think. Obviously, these guys are going to need to get some more work than that. And if that is the case, and I know we're going to speculate on how this is going to play out in a minute or discuss some options. But so say, all right, we get the green light even a month from now to start back up. Are they going to expect these guys to go right back into games? Or do you think they're going to give a little period of a mini training camp?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a week of all right, you're get back to your home rink, practice for a week, games start.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that if and when the season restarts, there will be some type of truncated training camp. Whether it's a week or 2 weeks, something to get these guys on the ice and try to get them back up into some semblance of game shape. I don't think they would have them all come back and be like, all right, so tomorrow, yeah, you guys are playing the Flyers. Get out there.
Get out there and work hard.
I feel like that would be just a formula for injury.
Absolutely.
Widespread injury.
Yeah.
But, all right, so, Kits, I know you're such a specialist at this shit. Give us some of these scenarios they're discussing about how this could play out, assuming the season can even resume this year.
Right. So there's a ton, obviously, of speculation out there because, nobody knows. And I think the league is getting a lot of suggestions from different general managers and people within organizations on their thoughts for, okay, say we can resume in mid-May, which is what a lot of people are speculating, if they're going to restart sometime in May. So we're looking a couple months down the road. And the biggest question is, what's the fairest way to do it? Because at this point, it seems most people are saying we're probably not going to be able to play any more regular season games. Like, it'll be so late in the year, and their big thing is they don't want anything that they're going to do to finish this year to possibly run into next year and fuck that up. They still want the 2021 season to be a complete 82-game normal season.
And now would they want that to start on time?
I think they still would, but they would maybe push it out a couple weeks and play a slightly more condensed schedule. No all-star game, no bye week, none of that stuff. And that way try to still have it in the normal time frame. Now, in terms of finishing this season, I've seen speculation from, the top 16 teams in terms of points, or the top 16 in points percentage, because not every team's played the same number of games. Or I've seen all the way up to all right, how about 20 teams? And we have a couple play-ins, like 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9, or 22 teams and a couple teams get a bye, or 24 teams and the top 8 get a bye, or even the one that I sent you guys that was, all right, every single team is alive and technically in the playoff race right now. And you have a single game playoff for the bottom 14 teams. And then you just keep playing it out until you eventually end up with your normal field of 16 and you play shortened series, maybe a 3 or 5 game series in there, but certainly your Stanley Cup final, you're still playing 7 games.
And the semifinals.
Yes, that as well, most likely. But really, it all depends on when you can start, what your drop-dead end date is. Because one of the big things I've seen in a lot of different articles is whatever they come up with, their probably last date that they want to be playing is July 24th. That's because that's the start of the Olympics. And they probably don't want to run up into the Olympics. Now, that's obviously assuming the Olympics are still happening. But if the Olympics are still happening and all of a sudden the NHL season's about to be played again and they're going to try to do it this summer, they probably are going to try to end it by July 24th.
Yeah, probably not good for ad revenue, right?
And if NBC basically has wall-to-wall Olympic coverage, and that's your TV partner.
Good call. Good call.
I feel like the one that you sent where every team's involved is really unique, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to take just as long as normal playoffs. It's just kind of like a unique thing that could go on.
Yeah, and one thing against that particular scenario is, so say you're the Red Wings, and you have your guys come back, you have a mini 2-week training camp, and then you play one game to probably get your brains beaten in.
Get better, dog.
I like what the players have suggested with a couple maybe little tweaks. I really like the idea of a, quote, 2-month sprint for Lord Stanley in August. That would begin in August and awarded by the end of September. Granted, that might not work with your July 24th end date.
And also it's because the other thing against that one is it would cause the delay of next season beginning.
Correct.
And I think they really want to avoid that.
And the draft. And
but at least, but see, I like that because, and then this saying, and this is that player proposed spitball idea that Frank Saravelli wrote about on TSN, if you guys want to look it up. But then they're saying another 82 game season following that in a very compressed fashion. And I just do not think that's a good idea. You're talking injuries, you're talking, I don't know. I just think that's a bad idea. And maybe if you're going to eliminate some games, maybe you do it towards the back half where teams know that and they can prepare for that. I don't know.
So you're saying for next season? Or
Yeah. So maybe next season they test, but then that screws with
See-
the record books on that front as well. I think that there's like some record type stuff in here. We talk about player earnings or player bonuses. It's a very
for sure.
complicated set of circumstances.
No doubt. And if I'm the NHL, though, I would, if possible, I would like to only mess up one season.
Right.
And therefore, I would try and do it this season. I hear you. The condensed schedule and some other things aren't ideal. But if, with what's going on in the world is going to mess up a season, I think try and isolate it there would be my go. I do hear, though, like I know the players comment, like they don't want to end. Like if the regular season ended now, that does suck that some teams got to play more than others. Like and really let the chips fall where they may, kind of thing. I don't know. It's super unique, and obviously none of us have the answers to this thing. We don't know how this is going to play out. I would love to see them come back for some kind of possibly shortened regular season because I don't think you can go. It does suck if you went straight top 16 based on points and your team played more games. That would just be a kick in the dick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you could try and even that up and then maybe do some kind of a either straight up 4 series best of 7 if that's at all possible given on the calendar, or you do some kind of modified thing. I mean, I like the idea that you threw out there. I know it wasn't your idea, but that had the all 31 teams. I actually think it's pretty cool. And maybe something that's worth of discussion on a crazy year like this. Otherwise, though, it just seems like not fitting at all of the normal format. Right. But maybe it's one of those years where you're like, you know what? It's a fucked up year. We're having a fucked up playoff.
Yeah, we're going to try
Let's
something wild.
Let's see how it goes down.
Yeah, I would be in favor of that. What if they played things out like normal, finished the 82-game season, did a normal Stanley Cup playoff, if possible, and then they just took 2 to 5 years to kind of get back to the normal schedule.
So you mean like next year's calendar would be pushed forward maybe a month and a half ish,
and then you
keep slowly pulling it back.
I don't know, just an idea. That way you're playing all your games, you're making all your money. There's definitely money involved here. People want their
Well, and that's the thing is you also got to
tickets.
see how maybe this might affect other leagues in sports. Like Kits was getting at originally. We're talking about massive ad dollars and huge media networks. I mean, they have commitments on a bunch of different leagues. So there's probably it's probably not just the NHL's decision.
Yes, and working around like the schedules of other NBA teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Will the arena be available? Concerts. I mean, this is a total headache.
Shit show, for lack of a better word.
So I got a question, though, because there's a lot of different scenarios that we've discussed and they're out there. You're the commissioner. It's up to you. They say, Brandon, we're restarting in 2 months' time. What are we doing?
All right, 2 months' time without me actually going and looking at the specific schedule. So that'd be what? We're starting back middle of May. All right, I'm trying to concoct some kind of get every team to some kind of a equal number of regular season games and use that almost as a mini warm up, like half a week of practices into like who needs a couple games. The points are probably there. I don't know if I would maybe add one round of a wild card, just because again this would be a shortened season. No one's going to get their 82 at this point, so I would maybe add one round of either invite 4 teams on each conference, maybe only 2. I'm not sure yet. I'd have to dissect it a little bit and have a play-in game, and then I'd go straight into the playoffs. I would do my best to have 4 best of 7s if needed. Maybe shorten the first and or second round. In my opinion, though, the semifinals and the finals need to be a best of 7. I think that's important to this sport.
All right, Schwartz, what do you like?
So I would probably do something similar to the what's his name? Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, Wayne Gretzky.
The Wayne Gretzky Twitter suggestion. If you want to look it up, we post it on our social. This is where all 31 teams would be involved.
So you'd have no regular season. They'd come back.
No,
and they'd go into
I
this
think
format.
I would say let's get to like 75 or 77 games, something in that ballpark. So there's a gap where teams come back and play, and then maybe every team gets 3 to 5 games, but you make it so that every team has played the same amount of home and away games. And then I actually really like the idea of this 31 team playoff, because I think it could create some interest in maybe new fans, something unique. And in just posting about it on social, you see a lot of interest from the bottom feeders.
Yeah.
So it's like
We're alive. We're in the playoffs.
Detroit and Buffalo fans are like, holy shit.
The playoff drought is over.
Yeah, we have a chance. And it could just be a really unique way of testing a new sort of idea that might create additional revenue and interest in the game. And why not do it, like you said, in a kind of a strange year, do something different, see how it goes, and maybe learn from it.
Yeah.
What about you, Kits?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not unprecedented for the league to do things outside the box. Like when the season was lost to the lockout, they came back for that next draft, the Crosby year, and they had the lottery. And they said every team had a chance to get Crosby. Thank God the Pens did. But they said they said that every team had a chance at it. And so it's not completely unprecedented for them to maybe say, okay, every team's going to have a chance at this playoffs, but we're going to give an advantage to the teams that are ahead. Now, if I'm in charge, though, and I've looked through a lot of these different scenarios and stuff, and the one that I like the best, and I think it's the most fair, is to have actually a 22-team playoff. It's going to start right away. So if you're one of those bottom 9 teams, look, you've already played 70 games. You didn't get it done to that point. Tough shit. But those top teams, they at least have an argument to be said like, look, we were either in or we could have gotten in. We could have realistically still gotten in. And then you have, the top 5 teams in the East and the West get a bye, and you have the next 6 teams play it out. So those matchups would be, you would have Islanders, Blue Jackets, Flames, Jets, Hurricanes, Panthers, Predators, Wild, Maple Leafs, Rangers, Canucks, and Coyotes. And that would be your wild card round. They could play
one
best
game
of 3.
or best of 3.
They could do a best of 3, or maybe if you want to just do one game, sure. But you have them do their wild card round. Then you have best of 5 for the first 2 rounds, best of 7 for the semis and the Stanley Cup. That's how I would do it.
Custrin, anything?
I mean, I don't want to extend it any too long, but I'd say as soon as they come back, you take it'd be the top 20 teams. So you'd have,
Carry the 2.
Yeah. So you'd have
catch a 9er
7, 8, 9, 10
Yeah.
in each conference, play a little play-in game for those final 2 playoff spots, and then still have the normal playoffs once that's set.
Okay,
Yep.
and so you go 4 rounds of 7
Yeah.
after that. Would you go 1 game or best of 3 for that?
I'd say best of 3, especially because that's going to be the only games coming back off that break.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
so you would jump right into the playoffs, no regular season?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I kinda
I'm
like
similar to Kyle in that if you were those bottom teams that aren't going to make it, hey, you had a chance.
Yeah.
It's not like
were
we have a
any
season.
teams already technically eliminated from the playoffs? Detroit.
Only the Red Wings. They were the only team.
Well, then
technically-
I would say a 30 game. Those other teams have an
30
argument.
Like, sorry, you did this to yourself.
Hey, LA was on a run, man.
They were.
Mathematically, we were still in it.
One of the things that we brought up off the air that I'd like to touch on are like unique player bonuses that are affected by stuff like this. And one of them that came to mind was the James Neal situation. We actually talked about it on one of our early podcasts when that deal with Nichol and Lucic was made. Kyle, you want to bring back up what that is and how that stands right now?
Yeah, so when they made the trade, there was that conditional thrown in there that I remember us talking about.
Yeah.
There was, I believe, a 3rd-round pick would have gone over to the Flames if James Neal scored more than 21 goals and Milan Lucic had 10 goals less than James Neal did. So, as we stand right now, and it's hilarious, especially given the hot start that Neal went off to, he is at 19 goals and Lucic is at 8. So, Neal needed 2 more goals and then they would have had to surrender that pick. But if there's no more regular season games played, as far as I know, that means that that's it. They're not going to hit that condition and that draft pick is not going to change hands.
That's a wild little stipulation.
It blows my mind that he has not hit 21. I mean, I'm trying to find him here real quick. How many did you say he has right now?
19.
He has 19.
I'm going to find 13 in like December.
Right? That's what I'm saying. The first month in, he was just on fire. Remember, he had that goal streak going. He was playing the first power play. Draisaitl was hooking him up left and right. It's going to take me way too long to find his game logs, even though I'm on.
Do you think that they have any sort of stipulation that, like, a total
Barring
season
this
needs to be
situation.
be played or anything like that? Or I wonder if they have insurance policies on that shit.
I don't know, because the other thing that I saw was
By insurance?
all those people that made deals at the trade deadline, and there's a lot of conditions attached to those. It's like, okay, well, like, are the Pens still going to have to give up a third rounder for Marlowe? Are the Islanders still going to have to give up their first and whatever the high price that they paid to get JG Pageau? So there's a lot of people that are out there like, oh, well, we got this guy for the stretch run. Fuck, there's no stretch run. Shit.
Just get back there. Neal, 9 goals in his first 8 games. How the hell is he not hitting 21?
Came back to earth.
Come on, dude.
Wow.
With a shot like that, though, you would just assume he's going to figure out another 12 goals over the next 70 games, excuse me.
I mean, he did get hurt for a while, but even still, that's
Even
pretty
still.
sad that he's not at 21 yet.
What about like player bonuses? If you score 30 goals in a particular season, you make extra money.
Sorry about your luck, player.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I bet that's what it's going to be, because then they're going to say, hey, you could have gotten hurt, and you wouldn't have played the same
thing,
number of
yeah.
games.
but
And that's out of your
I think
control,
there's-
out of our control.
I would imagine a lot of these issues will be between the PA and the league, and they'll go to they'll go to arbitration. They'll be very interesting because you could make the argument, listen, you need to prorate this, and then prorate it over 82 games almost.
Okay, so like the real marker, like say, let's just use easy numbers. Say it was 40 goals. We played 70 instead of 80 games. The real marker might be, what I just did to myself, 36 goals. Right, 10. I don't know. Whatever the fuck.
Let's use easy numbers. I use confusing numbers.
Sorry, I made it super hard on myself. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass.
Kiss your ass.
Anyhow, so you're saying, like, instead of having to hit that 40 goal number, prorated, maybe it's only 35 goals he actually had to hit at this point in time.
That way or up to 82 games. Yeah, however you want to look at it. I was on pace to hit the mark.
Gotcha.
And if I continued to play the way that I did over the 70, the next 10 games, like I did the past 72 games. But yeah, I mean, it's just
Crazy.
It's awesome. It's kind of really interesting. What about awards? If there's no completion of the season,
I think they'll still have awards.
They'll still vote on up to what was played.
Yeah.
Vote on them as if it was the full season.
This is it.
Which, I mean, I don't see any other way to do it.
No.
I mean, we got a nice sample size, too. Most of the teams have played 68 to 71 games out of 82.
But given that Ovi would win, what was goals,
The
right?
Rocket Richard?
Richard?
Yeah.
He was tied with Pasternak, I
Pasternak.
believe, at 48, right?
Yeah.
Split it.
Which just sucks ass. Even though I don't want the Capitals to do well, I want Ovi to hit 50. I do.
I still wanted Matthews to win it this year, though.
Well,
It's
agreed.
such a fucking
I want
asterisk.
Matthews to win it, but I want Ovi to hit 50.
Yeah, I get
like
it.
the fact that he had these seasons of hitting 50-goal seasons. No one else is doing it.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's true.
I'll tell you someone that won't be winning any awards this year. And it is former first-round pick, Jack Hughes, who is struggling a little bit to close out the campaign. If this is the end of it, gentlemen, he is the first overall pick in the last 20 years, okay, to have it is the fewest points out of those 20 years worth of first-round picks. So I said that kind of ass backwards. He played in 61 games, so it's a big sample size. It's not like he played in 12. 61 games, he has 7 goals and 14 assists. And in terms of points per game and points per 60, he is the fewest in the last 20 years.
And what's wild about that, sorry to interrupt, is that
ahead.
you've got defensemen in there that he's behind.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. To give it perspective, Jack Hughes had 7 goals, 14 assists. Eric Johnson, defenseman who drafted by by St. Louis, right?
Yep.
First overall. 5 goals, 28 assists in only 8 more games. Jack Hughes, obviously not the season anyone expected. I do think speed demon, and I think he has the vision for the game. I think he'll catch up, but physically, I just don't think he's there. I think he is a guy that while we know in 3 years' time from now, we might put him up there with some of the best in the game. I think he probably would have benefited from maybe 1 year in college or 1 year in the O or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too. And because he's the first player to jump directly from the U.S. national team to the NHL. All the other guys that played U.S. National, had at least one season where they went either to college or overseas. So like Eichel went to BU for 1 year. Austin Matthews went over to Switzerland for that 1 year. But Hughes, the first guy to be drafted right from the national team, step into the NHL, and unfortunately did not go the way he wanted.
Or like guys like Rasmus Dahlin, I'm sorry to interrupt, but he played in the Swedish Elite League before coming here. I mean, that's at a very high level pro league. Nico Hischier, I think, played in Switzerland. McDavid's playing in the O. It's just a crazy jump because when you're in the U.S. national program, most of your regular season games are against USHL teams, which is a very high level of hockey. But the oldest guy you're going to play against is 20, and that's even nowadays in USHL. That's pretty remote. That league is much younger, generally speaking. It's mostly 17, 18, maybe 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, be jumping and you're playing against
Chara
or Colton Parayko. I don't know. These are some big guys I think of. Huge jump, and he'll pan out, but not his season.
Yeah, I mean, one thing in looking at this list, which we'll post on our blog for this podcast if you want to reference it, last 20 years, two people that have done worse in their rookie season in terms of points per game. Joe Thornton, who turned out to have a pretty stellar career, and then actually tied with Hughes is Vincent Lecavalier at .34. So
also did okay.
Yeah, also did okay. But just above that .34 points per game mark is Patrick Stefan.
Oh, great number one overall.
Which can be very, very scary. But, guys, looking at this, just in terms of points per game, if you averaged over 1 point per game in your rookie campaign, it's a pretty good indicator that you're going to be legendary talent. And that would be Crosby at 1.26, Ovechkin at 1.31, and Connor McDavid at 1.07. Those are the only three guys in the last 20 years that have done it. And man, those kind of the cream of the crop.
Yeah, not too shabby.
The one thing I have to point out, though, looking at these,
Rick DiPietro averaged 0 points per game.
What a bum.
Big surprise. Marc-Andre Fleury as well. But when you look at this list, which, we're only talking, 2, 3, 4 guys? No, I'm sorry. That are over 20 goals. Then besides Ovechkin, 52. Crazy year. And he would have been in the NHL the season prior, so he was a year older, given that was that lockout year. But either way, 52, ridiculous. No one's taking that away from him. Crosby hitting 39, of course. But Austin Matthews, 40 goals.
Yeah.
Second most in the past 20 years as a rookie, first overall pick. Pretty good.
Well, when you score 4 your first night, really coming out of the gate swinging.
Let me ask you. And I actually want to look up these numbers. Who do you consider a greater first overall pick bust? Patrick Stefan or Alexander Daig?
I would. Okay, I'm going to say Stepan because I'm pretty sure that Daig had like a slight revival later in his career. He clearly never panned out as like the prodigy that they thought he was going to be, but he at least hung around the league for a couple of years and was a serviceable third-line type player. Stepan, I know he had some years where he still was hanging around the league, but I think what he's most known for, besides being a big bust, is missing that empty net when they then went down and scored and tied at the very last, at the buzzer. I think it was Oilers Stars, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right. Yeah.
But goddamn, is that ever the perfect clip for the perfect bust?
Can you name the person that scored that goal that tied the game to force overtime? He's right-handed.
I think I know.
He would tape the blade of his stick towards the toe and not the heel.
Langenbrunner?
Nope. No,
You got a guess?
it's an Edmonton Oiler that scored. Patrick Stefan was playing for the Stars.
He was on the
Stars?
Stars at this
Yeah.
point, yeah. You got a guess there, Cuss?
Go ahead if you know it.
I think it's Ales Hemsky.
Nailed it. Fucking nailed it.
Of course.
So
stay tuned. See if you can do it later.
I tend to. Well, I mean, I think Daig ended up being a better NHL hockey player, but Daig definitely had way bigger expectations. If anyone out there that's listening is not familiar, at one point when Alexander Daig was being drafted out of the queue, he was being renowned as like the next Gretzky meets Bure. The way this guy could skate and shoot a puck, and like he demanded, I think his first contract out of the queue was like 3 years, $12 million. Now, mind you, that's ridiculous, right? Any entry-level contracts now, even if these guys hit all of their bonuses, might hit $3 million, but most of it's in bonuses. Your actual salary is only, say, I shouldn't say only, but 900 grand-ish. I haven't looked at the numbers recently. Anyhow, I mean, this guy demanded an enormous contract and just had the hype out the ass. Never got anywhere near his expectations. I mean, his best year was 26 goals in 82 games, 51 points, and, just did not pan out. There's some interesting YouTube videos out there about Alexander Digg, by the way.
Can you guys tell me who was drafted second overall after Alexander Digg?
What year was it?
1993.
Can you...
Marcus Naslund.
No.
Can you give me his home country?
Canada.
Shit.
Can you use his name in a sentence?
I could, but I'm not going to.
Give me one more hint. I'm getting this.
D-Man.
D-Man, my first reaction is Chris Pronger.
Correct.
Oh.
Nicely done.
That's right.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
We thought you were just cold with that sweater on. Nope, there's knowledge behind it.
I thought for sure you're going to take the opportunity to talk about my old wisdom.
Well, that's what I was getting
I
at.
really
That's
thought an
what I
old
was
man
getting
joke
at.
was coming.
All right, so before we jump ahead to one of the funniest things I've seen on the internet this past week, which we'll get there, what do we think about, the coronavirus is affecting us all, right? Top down, whether you are a billionaire losing all
Ass
of
up.
Ass up. I like that reference. Whether you're a billionaire losing all the money that you have in the stocks, or you are someone that works the arena, or anyone in between, and anything, whatever. But we're finding a lot of NHL teams and even some players that are standing up and supporting those part-time or
Which is
even
awesome.
full-time workers that have no work these next few weeks with no NHL. But interesting scenario at Boston, which has certainly gotten a lot of uproar, if you will. Jeremy Jacobs, who has a net worth, the owner of the Boston Bruins, a net worth of upwards of $3.6 billion. Again, I'm sure that's taken a hit the past week with the stock market and all. Has decided not to pay the concession workers. And is that still accurate as far as we know?
As far as I know, and this came from a tweet from Pete Blackburn, who is a writer for CBS Sports, and I mean the guy's he has over 100,000 followers on Twitter.
He's a Boston guy too.
He's a legit media member, and coming from a legit source. I actually saw a Forbes article that was about this, but Pete's tweet was, the Bruins are officially the only team in the NHL to not announce a plan to pay concessions workers and other arena staff. Their owners were $3.6 billion and literally made his money via concessions. Fucking disgraceful.
Strong words.
Yeah.
And not wrong.
No.
I don't think. Because I thought it was great that you saw a lot of the owners, but even players like I think Bobrovsky in Florida started saying, hey, I'm going to put some money that can go towards these people that, a lot of these guys are paycheck to paycheck that are these concession workers, ushers, whatever they happen to be. And the fact that the Bruins are the only team still holding out, because it wasn't everybody at once. And I know at one point the Canucks and I think the Flames were like, no, we're not going to. And they took so much shit.
Jets
and
and
finally
Flames.
they were like, all right. Fine. Oh, sorry, Jets and Flames. You're right. They were like, okay, fine. We'll pay them. You know what? It is the right thing to do. And Jacobs is just like, fuck them. No, we're good.
I'm good. You guys aren't good? I'm good.
I don't know, obviously, all the details. I mean, every team has a different relationship with their facility as well and all that good shit. But at the end of the day, come on, man. Why are we not supporting these people?
Do the right thing.
Yeah, just do the right thing. And we're like I said in the very beginning, we are all fucking in this. Everyone's feeling it in one way or the other. And if you have that much means, I feel like you can help some of the people that are doing your day-to-day, a lot of your grunt work at the games that you profit from. So.
The most embarrassing thing for me, and the thing that frustrated me the most when I see people talking about this, is they're like, oh no, the Bruins players, like, they donated to the GoFundMe page. And it's like, okay, yeah, the players contributed some money to a GoFundMe page, and I think that that's awesome that they did that. But they're the fucking players.
Yeah.
Like, this guy owns the team. That's the ownership group is who should be doing this. And it's actually pathetic that the players had to go and do it before you did.
Yeah.
You know, like, that doesn't make up for the fact that this guy's pinching. You know, they've said, oh, we're reviewing our options and are going to have an announcement coming soon. But I mean, these people are already feeling the effects of this.
Do we think what's the Nutting? Is it the Pirates owner?
Yeah.
Would he pay?
Well, so
I actually did see that they are going to.
The Pirates contributed $1 million. However, Nutting announced it like, hey, I gave $1 million to our staff, but it was actually the MLB made owners do it. So
Yeah, not a surprise.
I just say we are not for it.
Gratuitous
Sounds
effort
about right.
on his part.
We have an amazing NHL and NFL ownership group in Pittsburgh, but obviously our MLB much to be desired.
Not so good.
Not so good.
I mean, the hope here is that there's enough pressure from media, fans, XYZ that, you know, the ownership group in Boston steps up to the plate. Surprising number of comments that there's not a surprise here, which really struck me. Not knowing the ownership group or anything about them.
He doesn't have a great reputation.
That's so I hear.
Any story that you know that would?
Not in particular. It's just the fact that he's known for being a guy that wants things his way, and he's gonna, you know, screw over whoever he has to have things his way.
Touche.
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs.
Paints a picture, all right.
Dickhead. Big old dickhead. You want to win Kyle's money? You'd probably need some more.
And a lot of people have said that, like, you know, apparently a lot of Bruins fans they're well aware and they're not happy about it. So we'll see what kind of impact that has on attendance.
We're aware,
I have a feeling
and we're not happy about it. We're here, we're aware, and we're not happy about it. Let's go Bees!
All right. Something a little funnier, though. No, that was a good reference and joke. I will appreciate
You're wiping the tears from your eyes, smart ass right there.
No, but honestly, guys, I was belly laughing yesterday when I read this next story. For anyone who hasn't read, Christina Marlowe, Patty Marlowe's wife. Was this a tweet? She's a tweeter.
she's a pretty strong Twitter follow, by the way.
So
she provides some good insight into the hockey family.
Yeah. She shared on her Twitter that for the last few days, she has been sending out emails to school, businesses, business partners, etc., with the name, quote unquote, D's Nuts, courtesy of my 13-year-old son, Landon Marlowe. Apology to those people. And she went on to say it's going to be a very, very long month. How early is too early to start drinking? I laughed my ass off, and I just had to say, this is perfect 2020 13-year-old boy prank, right? Like, you know, that is the prime age that I still laugh at D's Nuts, don't get me wrong. But at 13 years old, we were laughing our asses off to that. And the fact that you built that in by switching your mom's Google account name to D's Nuts, I mean, fucking A. Hats off to Landon Marlowe. If you were here, I'm not allowed to shake your hand, but I would...
Little elbow bump.
Yeah, elbow bump the shit out of you.
I thought that one of our Facebook followers had a great comment when we shared the screenshot of it and kind of alluded to what you were saying, Brandon, because when I thought of this, it was totally you, but guy goes, I have to applaud this fuckery. I mean, I was a pranking, mischievous little shit as a kid. Still am, but this is funny. So true.
Right?
Wonder how many emails she sent out.
I wonder how she figured out. Like, did she get an email
If
back
somebody was like, by the way,
from the teacher?
I think somebody might have messed with your name.
Mrs. D's Nuts. Landon has been misbehaving.
Thank you for your most recent email.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on, and we wanted to talk about something because, you know, it might be the end of the goddamn season for good, and we don't know if we're going to get more games. So we wanted to touch on, if I can get it out of my mouth here. Everybody had
Let's keep the touching to the minimum.
Okay. You know, I could say how many times we're going to use the touching joke, but apparently at least twice.
There.
So Get it out of my face. Get it out of my face. He's got this hand sanitizer out in front of me. But the one thing we did was we all picked a favorite moment of the 2019-2020 season. If these are all the moments we get, this would be our favorite moment for the year. So, gentlemen, I know we had some talks about these off air. Who wants to start? Maddie, you want to start? You look like you have the look of someone that wants to start.
I'll start. I feel like I have a very cliched answer here.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's the David Ayres emergency backup goalie situation.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's not out of the box here, but like, how often do you see that? Very unique. Gets the W, holds multiple records in the NHL record books now, in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Just thought it was very unique, something that you don't see in sport very often, and something might be a movie about that someday. That was really, really cool.
Well, you cuss. What's yours?
That was in my running. I'm not gonna lie. The other one that I had that I'm gonna go with is Ovechkin and his chase, and eventually getting his 700th goal, and just the fact that we're even having a conversation that he has the potential to catch Gretzky. I know we know that's unique in of itself, but the fact that he had another great year and he was killing it, and then all of a sudden he got 2 away and the well dried up a little bit. And all of a sudden he's gripping the stick a little tight. What was it, 5 games without a goal? And then all of a sudden he has back-to-back games with goals and gets that 700th. And it was a great moment, too, because very Ovechkin-like one-timer from a different spot, like we said before, but an Ovechkin-like one-timer. And then the fact that they had kind of a stoppage in the game, everyone kind of piled up on him. It was a great little moment, and I think that kind of incapacitates the...
What?
You making up words?
Try to get with the real word.
I think he got so excited and horny at the idea of the whole Washington Capitals team jumping on him at once. He's like, I've never wanted to be Alex Ovechkin's
Encapsulates? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm encapsulated by Washington Capitals. I'm so hard right now.
Table moved.
That little guy.
Yes, that is my event of the year right now.
Gittleberger.
So, I mean, mine is the David Ayres. I mean, the guy lived the fucking dream. It's the goddamn best. But one that, and maybe it is a little bit of recency bias, but one that was definitely up there for me was Zibanejad's 5-goal game.
No doubt.
That was just fucking awesome. And especially the way that we talked about what an unbelievable game that was. And for you to get your 5th as the OT winner, hey, maybe cover the guy that's got 4 goals in the fucking game. Dumbasses.
Right?
But, yeah, that was awesome.
Quick little rant about this. True story. I used to play roller hockey in the spring whenever ice hockey was done. So I played for a team. I didn't really know much of the guys. The coach of the team lived in a, how would you put it, like an in-law apartment of one of the guys on my team. It's going to be relevant in a second.
Okay.
So in the game, I score 4 goals in regulation. We go into, it's a playoff game. Overtime. There is no overtime. It goes to a shootout. It is tied 4-4. Mind you, 2 of my goals were on a breakaway.
Oh, no.
Well,
You don't get picked.
I don't get picked to go in the fucking shootout. And the asshole that has to live in the in-law apartment of one of the kids on my team, that kid gets picked for a shootout. Guess who loses in the goddamn shootout?
I think I remember hearing
I'm not upset about this.
He's not bitter.
I mean, it's only been 23 years.
Well, how many goals did the game?
The answer's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
It's only been 20.
23 years. This happened when he was 24.
Shut the fuck up, okay? I might be the oldest guy here. I'm not that old.
Man, Cuss just keeps shit hammering me.
Meanwhile,
That was supposed to be my word.
we got so much gray in that beard. You call me the old one. God.
Yeah, I thought there was something wrong with the camera before.
Moving on.
What's your favorite?
My favorite. Man, you guys named some good ones. Mine's probably the Bobby Ryan hat trick.
Yeah, that's the one that I was
That's a good
You know, that hits me in all the feels. Guy obviously had some battles, come back, do that at first home game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And one of them is just an absolute snipe. And then the fans give him a standing
Yeah, that was
O.
sweet.
I mean, that's just fucking awesome. And that's the coolest shit ever. And
Like, to celebrate this, I'm going to chug this beer.
I know, Bobby, no! Hey, you know what? These are the jokes you can't make on ESPN.
Any runners up come to mind? I was trying to think of some more.
Battle of Alberta. Remember the goalies fight?
the old time hockey,
that
that
was
was great.
that was up there.
That was
I
really
mean, if
good.
I wanted to be a dick, I really loved Marchand's shootout attempt when he.
when he skated over.
That was good.
That was a
good,
good one.
yeah.
That was a highlight of the season.
Just in terms of like great.
Pekka Rinne's goal.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was sweet. I was
cool.
thinking of Fleury's diving save that he made against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
yeah. No, I mean honestly, it was a pretty kick-ass season up until this whole virus
Pandemic.
pandemic getting us off.
I hope we get back to it. Really hope we do.
I do too.
We might
Alright,
be, we
what
might
do you
be
guys
doing
think?
these straight through the summer.
Will there be a Stanley Cup champion for the 2019-2020 season?
I am predicting I hope I am wrong. I do not think there will be any more games this season. Now, whether that means they award the winner to the
Boston,
Bruins for having the
that's-
most points,
No.
Can't
but
do
I
that.
don't think they would do that. So, therefore, my guess is there will be no Stanley Cup champion this year.
Cuss, what do you think?
Yes.
Yes, there will be, or yes,
Yes,
you agree
there
with
will
Rubio?
be.
All right, so they'll play it
Yes,
out.
there will
They'll
be a
figure way
Stanley
to play
Cup
it out.
champion. They
All
will
right.
come back and do something.
Yeah, I agree. I think even if it's like late July and they're like, you know what, fuck it, top 4 are playing it out.
Well, I was
They're
going to say,
gonna
do you think
something.
they would, like, if it got there, do you think they would they would just jump to that?
I think they would probably include more teams and just be like, you know what, single elimination. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It might not be the most fair. They do single elimination in football.
Yeah.
Fucking deal with
Is
it.
what it is.
Well, I have an unfair advantage over you guys because I have a medical degree.
No, you
So,
No, you don't.
got a law degree.
knowing that, I also am a little bit pessimistic on this front. Seeing that the WHL canceled their season outright.
That's what I knew.
That's always my gauge.
I also am a bit of a psychic. I do not think that there will be any more NHL games played this season, unfortunately.
Then I heard Ja Rule is really pessimistic on this.
Please,
Somebody get Ja on the phone.
where's Job?
If anyone is still listening to us at this point, please know that reference. Good old Dave Chappelle.
All right, let's go quick on this next one.
Yeah, this one's gonna last 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, so the weekly picks, where we play a game, we predict
No.
NHL.
If you could spend
I'm
2
sorry.
weeks in
No, go ahead.
quarantine with any NHL player, current or former, living or dead, we'll say, and of course they're living if they're dead, who would you choose and why? Anyone want to step up to the plate first?
Sure. I want core of his powers Theo Fleury on a bender.
I'm just gonna say when you say power, yes, on ice or off ice power.
Off ice.
If we're going that
That's
style,
a really well thought out answer.
if we're going that style, though, who's the guy out of Boston? Not Sanderson. What was his first name?
Derek Sanderson.
Derek Sanderson.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
That
But
would-
here's
yeah.
the thing, though. You're not leaving it. So, like, you gotta. That should also be an issue. I feel like with
God
someone.
damn, Dave! This is the 5th day in a row, Theo. How about we sleep in today?
I didn't think we'd be doing coke on hookers.
Like, listen, no one's been coming in the house. No one's looking for you. You're okay. That's my concern with some of these guys who might be hitting some of the hard stuff. Yeah, I don't. That is such a good one, though.
Yeah,
Theo Fleury.
Really good. Caught me by surprise there. I'll go next. Give you guys some time to think. I would go with thinking like conversation, and someone that I think should write a damn book about the stories they have is Brett Hall. I would love to be
It's a good
in a
one.
room with Brett Hall. Just tell me 2 weeks of the best stories you got, man.
Yeah. All right.
He would be up there for sure.
Similar vein, because he just strikes me as an absolute beauty, and I think would have fantastic stories and be awesome to hang out with. Rick Tocchet.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Good answer. And you wouldn't get, like, he could defend you from any zombies. Like,
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's really
The Rocket's going to be the last guy alive. When everything goes to shit, that guy's out there with the shotgun. You're not fucking getting me.
You're not getting me, Corona. Boom! Boom!
But how's he passing his time though when he's not coaching a team or running a sports book?
He loves, he loves gambling, so you can do all the games.
That's true. That's right. He could be entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, my first one was really thinking of a partier. I was kind of leaning towards, even though I couldn't think of his first name, Derek Sanderson. I was thinking, like, who's a guy I'm going to have some beers and hear
Really
some
dug
stories.
into this
But
research.
then as you said it, I'm thinking to myself, man, after a few days, this could really wear on me. I don't know. I might want one of these young guys who all they do is stay in their room and play video games, and I can be doing whatever the fuck I want. Another part of the house. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. I'm not prepared.
Interesting. I was also. Are there any players that are good cooks or chefs? Like, Lundqvist plays the guitar into fashion.
Kessel's a good eater. Like, he'd eat whatever he could.
Good eater.
What are we having today?
Oh, mac and cheese out of the box, they cool, man. I'm for it. Wieners, too? All right. Mac and cheese and wieners.
Matt just wants some deep conversation and a guy who dresses well to cook for him.
And someone that has a nice pair of shoes.
Or maybe a wrench, like Lundqvist.
Well, I suppose any answer is better than no answer, so...
Yes, this is true. Guilty. I am guilty.
Fucking loser.
I'm a loser. On a much shorter segment, boys, I'd love to go through some weekly picks. I'd love to talk about how many points I earned more than you. But when there's no NHL action, there are no points to be earned.
Yes, it's very
Well, I did
difficult.
happen to look, and we were all tied. Kyle technically would have won the week
Good.
on the tiebreaker.
Don't give him that.
Feels
Why would you give him that little...
So if you want to give me $20, I will take it right now.
Yeah, kiss my ass.
You mean for the week, like, everybody or out of the host?
I think just between us.
Well, the only person that didn't score any points last week was Brandon, but there was only one question.
Come on.
So...
Oh, that's right, because I went for, what was it? It was like a New Jersey... It was
the LA Kings and the Senators.
That's right. You guys all went Kings. I went Senators, just to be different.
And here we are.
Well,
And here we are, 0 points. But it was a really great week to announce an app for people to play a game around NHL action. I mean, business is bustling.
Perfect timing.
The app usership has got to be through the roof.
Through the roof. You wouldn't imagine how, you just wouldn't even know. I heard Facebook's looking to acquire us soon.
Probably so.
I'm holding out for a couple bill.
But I
Either
think
way, gentlemen, we have some shit coming down the road
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that smells like roses that you're going to love.
Now,
Oh,
are
I like
we
roses.
downhill and the turds are rolling down the hill? Or is this a wet poop that's dripping down the hill?
God, you have thought this through.
It can't go uphill.
I'm just saying, in 2 or 3 more podcasts, we might have some very exciting news about the app that'll make it a lot cooler. Maybe
Okay.
4 podcasts, we'll see.
Don't you blue ball the listening public, man.
But we're working on
called a
some.
teaser.
We're working on some stuff that we know or I'm confident that people are going to love.
Okay.
And it'll be pretty kick ass, and it won't be reliant on NHL season.
Okay.
And if
good.
you didn't know, his nickname is the Fluffer. Not the blue baller.
Nate?
I kid.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
It's my understanding that the fluffer is blue balling anyway. To some extent.
I wouldn't lie to anybody. I wouldn't lie.
I'll get you there.
Truth.
I haven't fluffed in years.
I haven't fluffed in years.
All right. I think
I had a
we're
rough
officially
time
deep
when I
right
was going through college, smoking cigarettes and fluffing.
I was law school.
Please.
Just trying to pay for those Marlboro Lights.
Is that
What?
I think he's pointing at you because it might be that time.
Oh, it's time for Win Cal's Money. All right, this week's contestant is Patrick Knott of Oxford, Mississippi. How you doing, Patrick?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, man.
Doing
so,
good.
You played. Was it your freshman year this past year? You played Ole Miss in the ACHA?
Yes, sir. Austin Street.
Awesome. Who did you guys? So I saw that you guys won the SEC championship this year. Did you guys? Was your season able to be played out before everything was canceled?
Our season was able to be played out. We went to nationals after winning the SEC championship. Lost in the regional championship to South Carolina. But nationals for this week got canceled, so season would have been over anyway.
Okay, all right.
Fair enough.
How is it playing hockey at Ole Miss?
It was actually really surprising when I got down here. I didn't think they'd have as much of a hockey culture as there is. That people even know we exist on campus is a big deal. But we got a really good team, really high skill guys, and we're ripping down in Mississippi.
Now, do you guys play against South Carolina and Clemson and those teams?
Yeah, we're in a conference with schools like Arkansas, Georgia, Florida Atlantic, Florida Southern Florida, all the schools in the southern region.
Yeah, because I've seen on Instagram, awesome. South Carolina, their games get rowdy. It's kind of sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They're pretty. They like to talk a lot. They're pretty good team.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, man. You come in a kind of a tough time. Kyle's been on a roll lately. He's 16-1 at Win Kyle's Money. He won last week on a tiebreaker, and it wasn't a great showing for him.
Yeah, that one was closer. He
was a little flustered going into it. But
we got some emails about that one.
Just so you know, you'll have 7 questions. You'll have a minute to answer those questions. Whoever answers the most questions correctly in the shortest amount of time wins. So time is of the essence. You can pass and come back to any question you like. And if you are able to defeat Kyle, you'll get a $20 Hpc gift card. All right, man. We ready to rock and roll?
Good time. Hey.
Let him know.
All right, so Kyle just went outside. Cuss will man the clock. The clock will start when I'm done asking the first question, and he'll give you a heads up when you have 10 seconds left.
The clock is everyone's number one hurdle, Pat.
Yeah, clock is important, brother. Here we go. Nearly 500 players have taken part in at least 200 career NHL games before their 23rd birthday. Just 7 own a more productive goal rate than Austin Matthews, who scored .56 goals per game. Name one of those 7 players not named Gretzky or Lemieux.
Kane?
Blake Wheeler recorded his 8th career season of 60-plus points with the Winnipeg Jets this season, putting him second all-time behind this player who did it 9 times with the Jets. True or false, there has never been an NHL season when a team didn't win the Stanley Cup. Despite this season being cut short by 12 games, this player recorded the second most goals in a season by a Czech-born rookie. This player holds the rookie record for most points in a single season in Colorado Avalanche history, having recorded 78 points in 2006-2007. Name one of the 4 players to record 40-plus goals, 40-plus assists, and 180-plus PIMs in their first 2 career NHL seasons and before their 21st birthday.
10 seconds.
Dean Youngblood used this brand of hockey stick. Dean Youngblood used this brand of hockey stick.
True.
Time.
Oh, shit. Well, we hung up on him.
That's how we know how you did.
Well,
guys, go get Kittleberger.
not the...
Patrick?
Patty, sorry, man, I hung up on you. All right, Kyle has entered the stadium. He's wearing his Mighty Ducks Hawks t-shirt, an ode to
Adam Banks.
What was the name of the coach?
Coach Riley.
Coach
It's
Riley.
not worth winning if you can't win big.
Kyle just put on his slap
how to
shot
skate.
glasses. He's prepared for
Touch how
battle.
to score. Touch how to go for the W.
All right, Kyle, you know the rules.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Ready.
Here we go. Nearly 500 players have taken part in at least 200 career NHL games before their 23rd birthday. Just 7 own a more productive goal rate than Austin Matthews, who has .56 goals per game. Name one of those 7 players not named Gretzky or Lemieux.
Dale Hawerchuk.
Blake Wheeler recorded his 8th career season of 60-plus points with the Winnipeg Jets this season, putting him second all-time behind this player who did it 9 times with the Jets.
Also Dale Hawerchuk.
True or false? There has never been an NHL season when a team didn't win the Stanley Cup.
False.
Despite this season being cut short by 12 games, this player recorded the second most goals in a season by a Czech-born rookie.
Ooh, pass.
This player holds the rookie record for most points in a single season in Colorado Avalanche history, having recorded 78 points in 06-07.
Jesus. Tange.
Name one of 4 players to record 40-plus goals, 40-plus assists, and 180-plus PIMs in their first 2 career NHL seasons and before their 21st birthday.
Jesus
10
Christ.
seconds.
I don't know. Kevin Stevens.
Dean Youngblood used this brand of hockey stick.
Vic.
Stop.
Stop it.
Yeah, I think that's time.
Is that time? Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
These were tough, Maddie.
Jesus Christ.
Very tough.
Well, they were very tough, but the tough weeds out the weak. And let me say, congratulations, Kyle. You are victorious. Another
Shit.
week. Yeah, I made him nervous a little bit.
Jesus
Slut
Christ,
over
those
here.
were ridiculous.
Sorry, Patrick. We were rooting for you here,
I know
brother.
I was.
It's all good.
All right, let's go through the answers.
So, what, the 7 players with more goal production?
Yeah, so that answer was Pavel Bure, Eric Lindros, Alex Ovechkin, Luke Robitaille, or Rick Martin. So best career goals per game before turning 23.
Okay.
Blake Wheeler recorded his 8th career season of 60-plus points with the Jets. Someone did it 9 times. That was Dale Hawerchuk.
I can't believe you got that
correct.
one.
A fucking schnipe.
Yeah, that was ultimately the winner. True or false? There's never been an NHL season when a team didn't win the Stanley Cup. You guys both got that correct. It was false. In 1919, the finals between the Canadiens and Seattle Metropolitans was canceled because of the Spanish flu.
Yep. And also the lockout.
Little known fact.
Yes.
My sources tell me.
Despite this season being cut short by 12 games, this player recorded the second most goals in a season by a Czech-born rookie, and that is Dominick Kubek.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blackhawks.
should have known that one. Should have known that one.
Yeah, and he is. He would have most certainly probably been number 1 on the list.
Yeah, he
who
has 30
is
goals. Number
anyone
one.
know? Number 1, he did it in 85, 86 for the
This
Red
would be an
Wings.
absolute snipe. If you did
32
this.
goals.
No, I don't have
Played for the Pens, had one of the most recognizable tape jobs ever.
Yuri Herdina.
Peter
Nedved.
Klima.
Oh.
Peter Klima. Remember, he always had a gap between every row of tape.
Avalanche rookie record for most points in a season in 06-07, 78 points.
Yeah, I didn't have that one.
Paul Stastny.
Oh, no shit. Fuck.
McKinnon is second with 63. Landeskog had 52. That's what Patrick said. That was in 11-12. One of 4 players to record 40-plus goals, 40-plus assists, and 180-plus PIMs in their first 2 career NHL seasons before their 21st birthday.
I don't know. After
Tough.
thinking more podcasts, like Talk It, maybe?
So the reason why this was timely is because Brady Tkachuk just did it. So Brady
Yeah.
Tkachuk, Eric Lindros, Jason Arnott, and Owen Nolan.
It's a wild list.
And then Dean Youngblood used a Titan twig,
Yeah.
the famous red.
Tough
one.
ones today, Maddie. Wow.
Yeah, there was some scare shit in there.
Yeah, but I feel like they just need to keep getting tougher given how things have gone and make
Absolutely.
it
Fair enough.
more
I'll still
challenging.
take the win. I'll take it anyway.
Patrick, thanks for playing, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks, Pat.
Have a good one, Patrick. Thanks, brother.
Thanks for having me.
All right, boys.
Well, it's been a weird one, to say the least.
So wait, what was the final tally then? Like, how many did he get?
Oh, good call. He got 1. He got false.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how you got beat the last time we threw in a true or false.
That's right.
And that was the deciding factor. But
It was.
it was funny that you guessed Dale Hawerchuk before
Before the Dale
correct
Hawerchuk.
answer.
That's why it's
Whatever
funny.
you said there, I remember shit.
No, it's on his mind. He's definitely getting
Well, because it took me a second. And I was like, wait, I think it's the answer for this one.
That was a snipe, though. My initial, when I'm thinking Winnipeg Jets, and that kind of point production. My initial people were Kachuk and Solani, but I also knew Solani wasn't
he didn't there that
wasn't with
long.
the Jets that long.
Yeah.
Wasn't there when they went to Phoenix and everything. So that was a snipe.
All right.
That was a snipe.
Well,
Boys.
And hey, everybody out there, hopefully you could have gotten about an hour of distraction from the otherwise hectic world that's going on out there, and we'll be back again next week. So
stay
boy,
safe,
if we're
guys.
in here,
Wash your hands.